This run with the dog has been 100% full auto up until this point. I paused it so I could show this, but Taras is about to be eaten. Watch what our little dog does. Boom, boom, 2 big hits as soon as Taras gets devoured. No turn meter filled there, and he's still going to have plenty of turns to take. Now, the reason why I have this team going isn't to show you a realistic build. It's to show you, and I honestly don't know how the results are even going to pan out, but I got a pretty good feeling how they're going to come out. But I want to showcase the difference between the dog versus another very well-known Hydra damage dealer being Taras. Now, there are other affinities that are very good. Unfortunately, this rotation on the test server is really good for magic affinity or void affinity. The other affinities have a lot of weaknesses, or it's just not as many strengths. It's just not a very good test over there. What you're going to see here, though, is 2 massive hit. Well, sorry, 1 weak hit and 1.1 million hit. There are no 9-piece protection sets on this entire team. No 9-piece feral. There's no merciless plus zeal on the dog. He's in savage plus crit damage. So all of this stuff lacking is still doing crazy damage from him. Just imagine the damage he's going to deal if you were to put him in merciless plus zeal, put on multiple 9-piece protection sets. I saw him hit earlier, which was about 20 minutes ago. I saw him hit for, I think, 3 million plus from the 2 single hits. So total of 3 million, not total of 6 million. But if you were to stack 9 pieces of protection on multiple champions, if you were to stack some zeal plus merciless on him, if you gave him a relic, which he doesn't have currently either, see, there we go, 3 million damage again. I wouldn't be surprised if he was hitting 3 million per hit. I mean, I don't know exactly what the difference, I guess it's a 100% increase, basically, right? That wouldn't be too difficult to hit. I do believe that on the live servers, you could get him to do that number or even higher, because there's a lot of buffs here. There's potential of what? It's 5% per buff. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Is it 5% or 3%? I forget. Either way, it's a big percentage boost on his damage. We have him paired with Packmaster. The reason why I put him in here with Packmaster, though, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. We have an announcement from Plarium that from the Raid Digest, there will be an opportunity to get the Packmaster. By the way, in August, you'll have an opportunity to fuse not only the dog, but also get his master, for those of you who missed Packmaster Fusion. And also, a chance to get the Throatripper's soul from another activity to receive the most out of this pair. So we're probably going to have like a champion training, possibly a champion chase, hopefully just like a free champ event. That'd be pretty cool. And then probably like a Titan event or something for the dog's soul. Hopefully it's not a, champion chase like we had for Titus, where very few players actually got his soul. Either way, this dog is putting up some crazy numbers in Hydra. And to be honest, this is going to be where his main area is at. For Chimera, we can throw him in there, try him out a little bit, but you're going to have champions like Titus who are just going to do more damage. You're going to have, your ninjas and Mikages doing a lot more. He doesn't bring a lot for like the trials unless you struggle with a leech champion. I can jump over there in a little while and test him out, but I think without a doubt, Hydra is his place. His passive literally scales. There's a 3 million hit from Taras. That's why I put Taras in here, was to compare it, because Taras does massive damage. Now, this is not even optimized. Without a doubt, you could get 1 billion plus damage on Nightmare Hydra, 100% full auto. No doubt in my mind. This is a relatively accessible build as far as the champion's gear. Of course, we have Krisk, Taras, Lydia, and Duchess, but you could change those out for different champions. That wouldn't be too big of a deal. Honestly, Ferals, Glycads, things like that are going to skyrocket his damage even more. I have no doubt that 3 million plus per hit is more than achievable. When you start stacking these damage scaling effects, he's going to be doing a ton. Is he going to be doing as much as Titus? No. Is he easier to set up than Titus? Definitely. Is less RNG? 100%. As long as you have Shayak, as long as you have the dog, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage. But you need Shayak, because without him, the dog is not going to be joining in with Shayak's A1, because Shayak won't be there. He will have to have accuracy for his A2 ability. He won't be doing the double hits. He won't be doing as much damage. It'd be literally cut in half, basically. Maybe even more than that. Let's go ahead and back out of here, though. See what his damage is compared to Taras's. I honestly expect for it to be quite a bit higher, but I could be wrong. Let's see. What is it going to be? Like, I almost guarantee it's going to be quite a bit higher. 306 million. Oh my gosh. Made Taras look pitiful. And the gear is relatively similar. 306 million damage from Krokad. We have 175 million from Taras. We're going to do a free regroup here. He healed for a ton as well, which I guess is just from the leech's place, so it doesn't really matter. But that is a massive difference. 125 million damage, more than a 6-star Crushing Rend Taras. Now, 5-star Nature's Wrath is really good, but that's not even a 6-star blessing. And take a look at the champion builds here, okay? We'll show Taras first. He is, of course, an HP-based champion. His A3 ability does tons of damage, scales based on the number of buffs that he has. He's 6-star Crushing Rend, so he's ignoring tons of defense. No relic there either. And he has 112,000 HP, 273 crit damage. So I'd say it's pretty solid stats. Now, the crit damage could be bumped up some, but let's see what Krokad's stats are for some comparison. So for Krokad, we have 302% crit damage. We have 7,900 attack. I would say Taras's HP in comparison is much more than Throatripper's attack. So I think Taras's build's a little bit better in that sense. He also has the big Crushing Rend, which is huge. We have no relic. We have Nature's Wrath. Of course, Taras doesn't get affected by Nature's Wrath. Krokad does. And then we have these masteries. For Taras, we have basically the same masteries. A little bit different at the top, but still Helm Smasher at the bottom. So we got that off the table. Let's actually show one other team. I want to give a shout out to this player. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Another content creator on the test server. Almost 1 billion damage full auto. Well, I assume full auto. But Krokad 361, Thor 200, Marius 300. So he's doing more damage than all these. Granted, he is joining in so many attacks. It's ridiculous. This is a 6-star Marius, and he's doing more. Marius is held back by the max HP cap, but this is still crazy levels of damage. The cool thing is he actually bringing some good debuffs as well, and these two champions do make sense. I do like the Queen of Hearts in the other guy's team because she places AoE decreased defense, which Krokad is bringing an AoE weaken plus a leech, and then we have Shayek who's bringing the AoE block buffs. So these two champions actually work quite well together for Hydra. So I'm excited to see that. A good full auto option for those of us who don't have Titus, can't build Titus, don't have Wixwell, can't get a good team going. Now you have a 1 billion plus potential full auto Hydra team. It's not going to be the easiest, and you may still just have a, under 500 million team, which is more than acceptable. You really want to push to getting all the personal chests each week. But either way, let's take a look at his kit real quick. A1 is an AoE attack. The attack deals single target damage to each target individually. This is very important, specifically for the Hex and how Hex works. Let me show you this real quick. I don't want to get too much on tangents here, but Hex is going to champions under Hex debuffs take 2% of AoE damage inflicted on their allies and 10% of single target damage inflicted on their allies. What that means is since Krokad's A1 ability is doing AoE damage but single target, that means that the Hex that you have out there is going to be doing 10% of that shared damage. So the Hex is going to be significantly more. Then, rather than AoE, we'll also ignore reflect damage and ally protection and pain link. So all this stuff that could cause him to accidentally nuke himself is going to be ignored, which is so helpful. This attack also deals double damage when counterattacking if Packmaster is on the same team, which this synergy is very cool because Shayek makes the dogs counterattack whenever he's hit. So they're counterattacking all the time. Plus, Shayek boosts if the enemy's under Hex. So a lot of cool stuff there. A Hex placed by him specifically. You do have to be careful with that. The A2 ability is an AoE attack, places an extra hit on enemies under 2 or more debuffs, which is a very easy condition to hit. Has a 100% chance when fully booked of placing Leech and Weaken. These debuffs cannot be resisted if Shayek is on the same team, so no accuracy needed, assuming you're running Shayek. If you're not running Shayek, I can show you a team and how much he'll do in just a second. We'll do a quick battle like that. But his A3 ability is going to be a single target hit, ignores 50% of the target's defense, as well as life barrier and poison cloud, the effects that redirect some of the attacks, or debuffs to another target. Ignores all that stuff. Repeats his attack if Packmaster is on the same team. That's where you're getting the double hit of like 1.7 million damage. So much. And then, of course, his passive is what makes him the Hydra champion, or makes him so good for Hydra, is because increasing this champion's attack by 5% when killing an enemy or specifically decapitating a Hydra head. This is not going to scale in Chimera. Obviously, there's no enemies to kill, no heads to decapitate. Increases this champion's attack by 10% when killing an enemy or decapitating a Hydra head instead. if Shayak is on the same team. Stacks up to 50%. So a 50% attack scaling, plus all this other stuff, Shayak basically has to be ran with this champion to get his full use. Just like Wixwell has to be ran with Titus, Shayak has to be ran with Throat Ripper. But the difference is we're actually getting Shayak, hopefully accessibly, during this fusion. Instantly activates his A3 ability against a Hydra head when an ally is devoured by that head, if Packmaster's on the same team. All very good stuff. His mastery is just typical Helm Smasher setup. Now, if I was to throw on a Cat's Gaze, his damage is going to be even higher. I didn't want to do that. We don't have the Claw Relic where it's just extra crit damage, so I didn't want to throw on Cat's Gaze. I know some of you may not have it. We can do it in a little while, but I want to jump in here real quick and give you a few battles to compare off of. So what we'll do here is I'll go ahead and take Shayak, and we'll drop him for a different block buff champion. So we go debuffs. Let's pretend you don't have Shayak. Go block debuffs. Okay, who are we going to use here? We can go Wukong. We could go Gerptuk. Gerptuk would actually be a good one because he would place the block buffs. He would also increase damage dealt, which could be interesting. Or we could just go Lazarius. Lazarius is built, I think, pretty fast. Yeah, let's do this. Number 1, number 2, and then don't use this. Krisk should be in a spot to, yeah, he's in a good spot to tank. To be a mischief tank, which that's what Shayak's doing. He's a mischief tank plus a block buff champion, so very, very useful kit there. But let's do a quick battle like this. We have a speed ore and everything, very similar stuff. We should still make it to 1,000 turns. We have Duchess. Shayak's not carrying the, okay? That is way less damage, and we made it pretty far. There could have been some bad RNG, but Crockeye did 80 million damage. That's still not terrible. But that's nowhere near what it was before, right? Is Lazarius actually got enough accuracy to do this? Because it's not really what I want to see. He does got plenty of accuracy. And then if we just take and throw in Shayak in here, the difference is it's staggering, honestly. So go 1 for this. He is built to be a mischief tank. We'll start this up, and then we'll do this. And let's see how this performs. So quick battle. Here we go. This should make it to 1,000 turns. I'm surprised the other one didn't, honestly. Yeah. I mean, double or more the damage. He quadrupled his damage, right? Maybe he died early. I need to test that one more time. Let's see. 578 million. He did 310. Let's test that one last time because that was very, very low damage for some reason. That's actually like surprisingly low without Packmaster. Much lower than I expected it to be. And he's Magic Affinity too, so he should be fine. I could maybe throw in Gerptuk instead, but we'll do one more quick battle. Hopefully make it all the way to 1,000 turns here. Dang, still 269. Wow, that's very surprising. I'm honestly not sure why that's even happening, why it's so bad. But, hey, it is what it is. And I already knew Shayak, and you guys should have known as well, Shayak makes the dog so much more valuable. Because you literally have Shayak's ability that is, when Hex is placed, boosts the damage dealt. But more importantly, when this champion is attacked, all ally dogs join the attack, will counterattack. So he's doing double damage when counterattacking. The heads, most of them do AoE stuff. So he's going to be counterattacking onto heads that are decapitated, all this stuff. Let's go ahead and test a little bit higher damage here. I want to move this up to a 6-star soul for now. I know this is not a good test in general, but for Hydra, this is going to be a very interesting one. And we'll actually go in here and see what we can push Crockad to without going Merciless plus Zeal just yet. We're going to throw on the Cat's Gaze just so we can see what could happen here. Can I upgrade the rank? I sure can. 3-star. Maybe I can take it to 5-star just so we can get a little bit better impression here. Let's go ahead and do it, guys. Why not? And maybe even throw on a Boss Slayer because, oh, I have no Starstone on the test server? What? I wasn't, what? This is unbelievable. Let's throw on some Boss Slayer stuff. Yeah, this will be good. This will be good. And then we'll throw on, I think that's really about it. That does really good here. These triangle slots, we could throw on the damage boost with accuracy. He doesn't have accuracy built, but he does have some accuracy on his kit, like in general 200. So it'll be 2% boosts on each one. So it'll be 4% total. We have that done. Let's jump in here and see this real quick. If you guys aren't interested in seeing Hydra stuff, you can just skip towards the later part of the video. We can do a quick battle first. Why not? We don't really need to see the damage individually, right? No Merciless, no Zeal, nothing like that. So there's still tons of potential to be gotten. 744 million damage. he skyrockets to 400, almost 500 million damage just from him. Remember, this is not Merciless plus Zeal, so there's still so much more potential you could squeeze from him. I could move it over, but I got no more quick battles. And honestly, I think you get the point. He does tons of damage. He could easily break into that billion plus full auto Nightmare Hydra team. Very, very cool stuff. Much easier than Wixwell Titus team as well. The builds on these champions was basically the same. I just threw them in there. Let's go ahead and jump into the arena, though. The arena is going to be an area where, let's see how he's going to do. So this is a team I wanted to test out. We have Shayak in here. Mostly just going to do his A2 ability. Also is a decent turn meter booster if you wanted to run him really fast. He has a 80% chance of placing block buffs on all enemies for 2 turns. Can't be resisted. Okay, we already know that, but that's not really going to help here. He does have a speed aura. It's kind of small, but he does have it. We have the A2 ability, which places taunt and all that kind of stuff, which is good because the taunt means Crocad's going to join the attacks. Now, this Crocad's built pretty good now. Well, he's not in Stone Skin. He's just going to die here. Unless I can, yeah, where he's just going to die there. Let's get him in Stone Skin real quick, though he may just get nuked because of the Incinerate. Let's see. I do have a Stone Skin build saved for him and ready to go. Of course, for PvP, I would not recommend Nature's Wrath. I'd actually most likely recommend going, instead of Nature's Wrath, having Lightning Cage so you don't get your stuff stripped from you. I don't think I have much silver over here on the test server either. Let's see if we have any Stone Skin pieces ready to roll real quick. We have a crit damage necklace, and Garrel's not wearing anything else. There we go. That's a pretty good one. 1.5 million silver. There we go. Full 4-piece Stone Skin, 4-piece Savage. Very common build for the arena. I'm going to be honest, though. Other than like earlier game players that you don't have a ton of gear, you're probably not going to be using him in the arena, right? We'll boost him, and then we'll go for this A2 ability. I mean, everything gets melted. We, of course, don't kill the him because we're just not doing that much damage. I do enough damage to kill him as well. I could have went for this Stone Skin strip, possibly have killed my, what's his name, Sulfurion. Let's try a different team here. Try this one, Farbsoft's team. If I can strip the Stone Skin if they have it, it'd be great. Okay, we actually don't really need to do the Stone Skin strip. Let's just take Crocad up, and then we'll go A2. Boom, boom. Got sheeped. That is a potential concern there that I kind of forgot about. With Shayak on the same team, we do have a chance of getting sheeped, which is not good. But the A1's always going to have him joining, which is pretty cool. Obviously, we have block damage over there. Not so cool. So he's going to struggle with a lot of the similar stuff. One, we kind of have to have Shayak in the team to make him really good. And Shayak isn't really an amazing arena champion to begin with. Let's try this again. Let's not get sheep this time. I mean, he does a lot of damage. We already know that from Hydra, but he's hitting hard. He's doing tons of damage. I really wish there was a cleanse that we could do. Removes all debuffs from this champion and heals them. But doesn't. If it cleansed everybody, that'd be a different story. We could actually get some stuff really popping off there. That A2 ability is cool. A2 from Odin. That's what I was thinking. This is really cool. I do wish, in a way, that it also plays Unkillable. That would be crazy. But anytime he gets hit, boom. The taunt is very strong with Crocad. It's going to be taunting, so they have to hit him, and then Crocad's just going to be joining the attack. AoE, good damage. No, so that's a lot of like burns over time, basically. So I think potentially a Go Second team could be okay with him. Now, for a Go Second team, you would have to run something like, let's see if we can switch this to Lightning Cage. You could get something like this to work. It is going to be a little bit risky because you do have a champion who's attack based and not like especially high in defensive stats or anything. Let's check it out. So you have 14,000 HP, 870 defense, so nothing crazy high. His base attack is very high though, 1729. So he's not going to survive big hits. So you would probably need something like a Necrit on the team, for example. We don't really need a Sulfurion. We could use a champion like, I mean, this is not a good example because Harima is not a accessible champion, but it makes him not take as much damage from everybody. So we get that stuff. He survives the hit, comes back with a counterattack. Boom, counterattack again. He can get enfeebled, which is not going to be fun. Just boom, counterattack, counterattack, counterattack. We'll go in for some more. He's going to get Stone Skin in a minute, though. But even if he gets Stone Skin, we should be able to... He doesn't ignore Stone Skin, which is unfortunate. It'd be really cool if he did. We'll proc that Stone Skin on him. Don't break it. If we had Cracking Roots, maybe we could break it. Of course, Arnorn is a beast of a champion. So we're not able to quite break his stuff down. Let's try this one. This is a bunch of bombs, though. So, yeah, let's actually try it. Because I bet when Nishak goes to use his A3, it's going to trigger my counterattack, which could kill some of his allies. So, boom, Warlord does his thing. That's really cool. So, Warlord does his AoE hit. Crixie does her AoE hit, anything like that. And he's just going to be counterattacking. So, any of those champions that have AoEs on a lot of their skills, or if he places Taunt first, can't be removed anyways, he's going to just walk them down. There are going to be some teams this works really well with, and some teams that you just are going to be difficult to pull it off. It's probably going to be better with a go second type team. This is obviously not a very good example, though we are going to get some counterattacks just from this. And you don't need very many either. Okay, just drops Shayak. Of course, when Shayak's down, it takes away our counterattack stuff. We did get a little bit unlucky there with the whole strips from Queen of Hearts, though I guess he does have 2 strippers, so there's a good chance that we're going to get it stripped from us anyways, right? Nothing stripped that time. Nothing stripped that time either, so that time I had really good luck. So Shayak's not dying. The dog's just busting through. Boom, everything. Counterattack, counterattack, counterattack. And then another counterattack. He's going to be attacking a lot. This is basically the new Venus Cupidus. Honestly, that's what it is. It's exactly what it is, actually. This is a free-to-play. Not free. Yeah, actually, it is a free-to-play Venus Cupidus team. Venus Cupidus are not nearly as strong as they used to be, but Venus Cupidus teams were basically just... How did I not realize that sooner? Let's go... where's my Duchess? Now, actually, this would be a Marichka here because you can't stop the burns. We could do a Marichka here, though. That's literally what this is. Free-to-play Venus Cupidus. My goodness, why did I not think about that sooner? Now, Cupidus, I think, still counterattacks whenever he's hit after Venus dies. So it's a little bit different there. But I guess free-to-play Venus Cupidus team. I would say Crockett probably hits a little bit harder than Venus, though, as well. Sorry, Cupidus. Of course he hits harder than Venus. That's some big hits there. He does have more useful stuff, I think. Huh. That's actually really cool. Took me 50 minutes to realize that's what... Oh, sorry, no. I recorded some of the Hydra run. That's what took so much of the video. Let's try this team, though. Venus Cupidus. Whoa. Crashing on the test server. Dang, that's unfortunate. Let's try this again. It's like that fight's a bad idea. Don't even go for it. This probably is a bad idea. We do have a lot of AoE abilities over there. Okay. Dang, I mean, that's some big hits. You don't often see Nell switching forms like that. That's cool stuff. If he goes for the AoE stuff, we don't have any... If he had ignore block damage, he would be meta. Like, he would be an amazing top-tier champion. But since we don't have ignore block damage, he is very weak to some of these top-tier champs, like your Nice, like your Siegfrieds, like your Odin, stuff like that. Block damage is very dominant right now, and he's going to struggle against that, of course, like any champion does. But this constant AoE damage, nuking it right down, is very good. I really wish it would be crazy if this ignored block damage. It doesn't, obviously. But man, oh man, if it did, he would be incredible. The counterattack is really nice, though. It's very nice. And then well, obviously I have Necrid on the team as well, so we're getting into some more attacks here. Okay. If I could use that A3 ability, if I didn't just waste it into like showcasing that it doesn't work, I could have killed this Nice, I'm sure, right now. Let's try that again. Well, I guess we can try it again. Just a second. Okay, let's go for this. Ally attack. Boom. All right, we lost there. Let's save that. Actually, there's no reason to keep fighting it. If I had the A3... Let's try it. I got to try it. I want to see the A3, how much damage it can do to a Nice, because Nice is a massive champion. Super tanky. So I want to see what kind of damage it does there. Okay, so good AoE stuff. Basically getting him to swap forms before they even can do anything else. Unfortunately, it's targeting him. But boom, he's already swapping forms just from a few AoE attacks. Places his block damage. The cleanse. If this was an actual player, it'd be different because he can ignore block damage anyways when they're under burns. So we'll just go for the A2. Doesn't really matter what I do here. Double hit on the Galathier. Get some good damage over there. Some more ally attack stuff. All right, that's unfortunate. Not a huge deal either, though, to be honest. Here we go. Let's see if we kill this Nice. It's the only thing I was really focused on. No increased attack. Dang, 300,000 damage. Killing a Nice alone is something you should be impressed by, honestly. Because Nice is an extremely annoying champion. He's going to kill me now. No, he's not. He could have killed me. Maybe we can kill his Galathier. Just kidding. We can never kill Galathier. He refuses to die. That's all there is to that. GG's. All right, so, but you get the point. Nice is able to be shot down from a Crockeye. Now, granted, it is a 6-star champion, which, take a look at his gear real quick. He does have some good stats, I do believe. 6,800, 340, yeah, it's definitely strong. This is not anything higher. I have this on my main account, so this is accurate. The boss slayer is irrelevant. These are some good stats. Let's go ahead real quick and jump over into the Chimera and see what maybe he can do over there. Now, these are the teams I currently use. If I was to throw him into a team like this would be the most realistic for him. We would need we actually do have decreased defense and weaken if I was to do that, which could be interesting. We could give him kind of a shot. Lydia's got to be dropped, but Herbaeus does kind of bring similar stuff, right? I mean, we can try this. Block buffs plus the taunt, which is not going to really do anything here that I'm aware of. The taunt plus shield reflect damage is kind of cool. We'll have this number 1, this number 2. Because we get weaken. He brings a decreased defense single target. So there are some things that the dog plus Chayek can bring together that would be pretty cool. He's not in the proper gear for this. But let's see what he's hitting for on Chimera. I don't want to completely just mark him off yet. He will be good for trials. We do have a few of the things taken care of from the trial stuff. That wasn't their fault. That was just the nuking from the Hydra. 210, 155 with no decreased defense applied. Of course, it's going to be higher if we got decreased defense up as well. 35,000. So his damage is not going to scale higher, unfortunately. Okay, so we're not placing the debuffs on the Hydra yet. Sorry, not Hydra, Chimera. 100,000. So he could be decent for lower levels of Chimera. I don't think anybody really expected him to be a Chimera monster. But maybe I'm writing him off too early. Let's go check something out real quick. Let's take Cardiel and drop him. We're getting tons of counterattacks as it is anyways. And then we will throw in Lydia, wherever she's at. And we'll let her do her decreased defense plus weaken to make sure they both stay up. And then we'll go in here real quickly to him. We'll swap his gear one more time to make sure we get an honest test here. His necklace and banner, this does need to be swapped. Speed, attack. I don't know what he had before. I think it's this one probably. This is good too though. And then this, we'll switch this to probably Nature's Wrath. Crushing Rin could be really good too though. Crushing Rin may be the best when you don't have Merciless on, but Merciless plus Zeal would probably lend itself to Nature's Wrath being better. Not really sure though. We're not testing that right now either. So Lydia will get the decreased defense and weaken up. Of course, 9-piece protections, all that kind of stuff would make this even crazier. We have the decreased defense and the weaken both applied now. We have all of his stuff stacking. We have increased attack coming from Duchess whenever she places that, of course. 100,000 damage there. Okay, 320, 200. You may be able to push that up to close to 1 million damage per hit. So if you could, he's in Merciless plus Zeal. Maybe he does pop off with some damage. Some pretty impressive damage. because A1's doing almost 100,000. It's going to happen on the counterattacks every time Packmaster's hit. If you make sure that your only champion place in Hex is Packmaster, you're going to deal more damage from that as well. I mean, 3, 6. He could definitely one key. There's no question about that. A lot of attacks joining in. It's just, unfortunately, he can't scale. Okay. Maybe he could be a decent Chimera champion as well. He does bring good debuffs. I was definitely underestimating him a little bit because of the fact that he scales so much in Hydra. I was like, well, I don't know why you'd want to use him here, but then again, I guess a lot of us don't have, Titus and Wixwell combo. If you don't have that, maybe this is a combo that you could use. We do have block buffs. Now I have Lydia as well, which is kind of making it redundant. And I think you could probably adjust it, make it a little bit different. Without Packmaster, he's not going to do much at all. You could see it in Hydra how different it was, and in here it's the same thing. But in Chimera, you do want to make sure you have Packmaster with him, and Packmaster brings block buffs and the turn meter boost. We could put a Journal of Necrotos on him, but that's really about it. The taunt, I don't think, makes him be the target necessarily. It may actually. That may have been why he was the one focused down by the Ram there. And if that's the case, then hey, that could be a great option for you. If you want a champion killed by the Ram and you don't have to worry about somebody else, it could be awesome. He's about to kill himself, I'm sure. But we're doing okay damage. Not too bad. A team properly tuned to this could probably get 1 key Ultra Nightmare on it. Full auto as well. You would have to be very careful with your stats, though, especially on Viper form. Make sure you have plenty of resistance. But more 9-piece protections and everything. This is obviously bad affinity for him. But it could definitely be interesting. Maybe he is focusing on the champions with taunt. That's interesting. I figured he'd just ignore that. Wait till he gets back to the first form. I am convinced that you could probably get him scaling to hit close to or at 1,000,000 damage per hit. Maybe not. Which is what max HP champions like Marius are doing anyways. Like 800,000 to 1,000,000 damage depending on your gear. So if you have Marius, I think you just have a better option than the dog. Which there's a huge difference between somebody who has Marius and somebody who's getting the dog and is going to carry them through so many areas, right? The dog plus Shayak could be what you need for Chimera too. Could help you out some on the lower difficulties, maybe Nightmare, Brutal, things like that. You get a decent setup going. 100,000 damage on the A1 from the ally attack, the counter attack. I want to see one more A3 ability used. Ideally from, as soon as, actually right now. Let's see right now. 185. We have increased attack. We're all good there. Can't use it just yet. Do need decrease in defense reapplied, but constant counterattack. Very nice stuff. And now we can see what it does. We should have Hex from Packmaster. So let's see. Yeah. So we're not that far away from 1,000,000. Merciless plus Zeal, and you got it. Let's see what the damage done here was. It's going to be affinity problems, though. Like on Force Affinity, he's going to do a lot less damage, which is an issue because it's not good for all rotations of Chimera. He did 9,000,000 damage. Not bad. Not bad at all. Maybe that should be fine, honestly. You should be able to pick up some of the trials with this stuff anyways. I feel like Shayak doesn't bring a ton, but he does bring the block buffs and some turn meter boost, decreased defense as well. But we're having Lydia overlap it. If you brought a champion with a different champion with a block active skill and then an ally attack champion, maybe a little different because then you could have the decreased defense and we can apply more consistently. But either way, overall, seems to be a very good champion. I like his damage in the arena. I really like the idea of him being a Venus Cupidus basically replacement. So if you, back in the old days, wanted to play Venus and Cupidus and you couldn't, well, now's your chance. So we could do Ultimate Death Knight here as well. And then we could go, we don't even need this guy. We could go UDK plus, it'd be really good if we could have him in the front, having the taunt actually. Because actually, maybe let's try this. Let's go her plus, who else? I mean, obviously it's not a very accessible champion, but we'll go Duchess. This will be somewhat similar. We have a Stone Skin now. So Stone Skin is going to be a good way to make this hopefully work pretty decent. I really want to get... Okay, I don't want him to be asleep. I want him to be having the taunt on, so once... Okay, well, my gosh, that's a lot of damage. Oh, they're dead. So, GG's there. Try this one. Probably not going to be faster. We are faster. You're getting slept on the dog. It's not cool. But the Chimera is going to wake him up and then get smacked by him. He does a lot. He does a lot of damage. He's not in stone skin right now. That's why he keeps getting slept. I keep switching his gear back and forth because of testing different areas. Let's see this. All this silver over in the test server is spoiling me. There we go. Give this a shot. Give this the old try here. Boom. Counterattack one. Dang. Takes out a chunk. We're gonna not switch. Actually, could I switch forms? I could switch forms and he will... Will he counterattack? Probably not, actually. Oh, he's just dead. So no, he's not gonna counterattack from that. I was curious if... What would happen there? Obviously. Found out pretty quickly what was gonna happen. Okay, so he's gonna go for this boom. Does not strip stone skin. Very good stuff. And then we just do an A1 here. Doesn't really matter. He's dead. Oh, no, he's not dead. He keeps his stone skin up the whole time. A little bit crazy. A little bit OP. But that's okay. That's what I like. And then he gets a turn here. Just with his A1. Just melting stuff. That's not the champion I was wanting back at all, actually. It was a champion I least wanted back, matter of fact. Get this up. This up. Just a good old A1 ability. Nothing too crazy here. Nothing extreme. Marius is going to kill me, I bet. Unless we get an A1 ability from somebody. Okay, there we go. We kill him. Nice. So, there we go. Maybe I'll do a separate video on just Cupidus, Venus, the new version of him. But that's cool stuff, guys. Very, very cool stuff. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that video there. And let me know what you think about this champion. I say go for this fusion. Very strong champion across the board. Didn't even consider wave clearing in dungeon content, or just content in general. Let's throw him in Dragon Stage 10 solo and see what he does. Because he brings a leech. Like, this is the champion to clear waves, right? Champions who bring leech and can self-sustain. Granted, he's going to be very squishy, but him plus Shayek could probably handle it fine, right? Okay, he's not doing that much. He's not doing that much damage. He is healing really well. I mean, he's actually getting through it. He's proccing his counterattack pretty frequently. That was good. He's popping off, doing this stuff well. So that's pretty cool to see. He dies, of course, which makes sense. But wave clear, not a bad champion for wave clear either. Could be part of a blender team. I would say the Cupidus Venus team is better. Take a look at Cupidus, for example, though. He's Spirit Affinity for 1, which is not bad. But he's going to counterattack when attacked with Venus on the same team. A little bit different than the dog, who has Shayek alive to do the counterattacks. But I'd say the dog's actually stronger than Cupidus. That's what I think. Could be wrong, but he's going to be attacking more. Because he's going to be joining on the ally attacks from Shayek. Shayek can have a taunt. Either way, and I don't know. Either way, they're both good. If you have Venus Cupidus, maybe use that. If you have Crocad, try this out. Very good team. Shayek, Crocad, UDK, plus another support team, Pythion possibly. Very good team for 3v3. Because you have a UDK, making it to where you have to bring AoE attacks. You have Shayek plus the dog, making it to where you don't really want to have AoE attacks. And you have players who probably don't really know the combination just yet. But either way, they'll know soon. Thank you all for watching. Very long video there, and I'll catch you all in the next one.